been a summer weekend afternoon in Chicago, and we're set for Cubs baseball on WGN Sports, the middle game of a weekend interleague set. The Rays and the Cubs coming up, and we welcome Cub fans from all over the country watching on WGN America, America's home for baseball. And alongside Jim DeShays, I'm Len Casper. We're going to get right into the pitching matchup. Wind blowing in, even though it's a warm day today. Edwin Jackson, a former Ray, coming off his first win in over a month.
Yeah, looking to put back-to-back wins together for the first time this year. I've been solid in his start against the Dodgers last time out on Sunday. Worked 6 innings. That's something he had not been able to do in prior starts. 7 hits, 2 earned runs. Did not walk anybody. Struck out 6. And for the Rays today, a rookie, Jake Odorizzi, he's been good. Not last time out, just 3 innings, allowed 8 hits, 5 earned runs. Look at that note on the bottom. His prior 3 starts, he won them all, had allowed just 5 earned runs in all 3 of those starts.
So the Rays and Cubs, game 2 of this series, will continue to focus on 1980s music on this homestand, and we'll hear from Javier Baez when we come back. First pitch, right around the corner. Chicago Cubs baseball brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Ford, manufacturers of America's best-selling brand. Check out our best-selling lineup at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. And by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Eric Clapton again focusing on the 80s on this homestand. And Cubs baseball in high definition on WGN is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Had a chance to sit down with Javier Baez and talked about just how special it is to finally be in the show.
I mean, like you say, I've been waiting for this my whole life, and everybody play for this, to be in the big leagues and be somebody in the big leagues.
Well, we've got the game ball delivery.
That is a spry gentleman right there, 100 years young.
John Bernauer.
For a minute there, I thought he was going to crank it up and let it go from the mound.
Yeah.
He was pumping that arm, and then he walked it to home plate.
He got a big ovation. Nicely done, sir.
Yep. 100 years on the planet. We'll go when you're ready, young man.
That's right. He's only 79 years older than our interview subject, Javier Baez. First week in the big leagues. And let's check out the Rays starting lineup that will face right-hander Edwin Jackson. Desmond Jennings homered yesterday. First time a Ray has homered in this ballpark. Look at Ben Zobrist. He's been red hot over the last month plus. Loney with his first start of the series. Longoria cleans up. Matt Joyce, big hit off the bench yesterday. It's Escobar at short. Former Cub Jose Molina back at Wrigley Field. Jake Odorizzi, the pitcher, is going to bat 8th. Kevin Kiermaier had the game-winning hit in the 10th. He'll bat 9th.
Cubs defensively this afternoon, very similar to yesterday's look. Coghlan left, Alcantara center. Ruggiano didn't start yesterday, but finished the ball game in right infield of Valbuena, Castro, Baez, and Rizzo. Wellington Castillo behind the plate for Edwin Jackson, the veteran right-hander, 6 up, 11 down now through 23 starts this year. As we mentioned in the open, really good last time out against the Dodgers, trying to put solid efforts together back to back. He has not faced the Rays since 2011. Not many of their hitters have much of a book on Jackson as you look at the numbers. 144 hits, 125 innings. Allowed 15 long ones, 53 walks, 114 strikeouts.
Let's get the umpires for today. Tom Hallion, the crew chief, back at the plate. Trip Gibson's at first, Alan Porter at second. Eric Cooper is over at third. Tears for Fears. Final song in a very underrated film back in 1983, Real Genius. Did you see it?
I don't believe I saw it, no.
Film? Check it out. 75 degrees, again, wind blowing in, but gorgeous. Blue skies above, and the blimp is above once again. Here's Jennings to lead it off. Rays 3 games under 500. They've won 32 of their last 49 as they try to hang around the fringes of the wild card at the very least. 5 teams ahead of them for that second spot, and they're 5.5 back. It's going to be a very tall order here these last 2 months. We're underway, ball 1. From Jackson to Jennings.
Jennings hit his 10th home run of the year yesterday. That came in the 3rd to tie the game as the Cubs took a 1-0 lead in the 1st. It was the kind of game it was. Cubs had 2 leads slip away yesterday, and ultimately the Rays won in 10.
Two-time American League Manager of the Year Joe Madden has actually now managed more than half the games in Rays history. Fly ball out into deep left center, but the wind's going to knock it down and allow Alcantara to get to it on the warning track for the out.
Now, Jennings apparently got that ball a little bit better than I realized, because I thought it'd be a lazy fly ball when he first hit it, but pretty good carry into that stiff wind. And out number 1 for Edwin Jackson. There you go. There's the blimp view.
Right down the middle of the fairway. Benny and the Jets from Gary Pressey as Mr. Zobrist digs in. 3 hits in the opener yesterday, including a double, and scored a run.
I guess it's better than Ben the Rat song.
Right.
You know. Maybe he'll get that next AB.
Wait a minute, that's a 70s reference. Got to keep it in the 80s. But Benny takes it high, 1-1.
Well, let's go a little deeper on Edwin Jackson. That whip of 1.57, that's the highest. That means bad. Walks plus hits per innings pitched. Among qualifiers in the National League, OPS up there as well. Well, he's got the highest ERA among qualifiers. So stands to reason that those secondary numbers would not be pretty either. So, to get a gauge, National League starting pitchers, their whip on average 1.26. The best in the National League, Clayton Kershaw, 0.85.
2-1 on the way is pounded on the ground to first. Rizzo will take it to the bag. Send us your WGN Cubs selfies. We're going to focus on the 80s today, of course. Max Headroom in the shot. Hashtag WGN Cubs. Can you moonwalk?
No, I never could. I could never dunk, and I could never moonwalk. To the great regrets of my life.
There's James Loney.
I checked that. I dunked once at basketball practice in high school, the peak of my athletic career.
So you could dunk.
Well, I did dunk.
So, There's a difference?
Well, if you do it once,
it
happened. Couldn't do it with any regularity.
Fouled back. Loney hits a lot of line drives.
That's been his game throughout his career. Both these guys products of the Dodgers organization. Edwin moved out early. Loney spent a few years there. Never really hit for the power they hoped he would deliver, and that's always been the issue with Loney. Good glove man, a high average hitter, line drive hitter, but not much in terms of the power department, and that's what you're looking for from the first baseman. Unless you got the right pieces, if you got the right mix on your club. It worked here with Mark Grace. He wasn't a home run hitter, but you had one at second base in Sandberg that did way more than most second basemen. Only hitting .291 this year, driven in 51, but just 5 long ones.
First inning has been a problem for not only Edwin, but for the Cubs. His first inning ERA 7.83. The Cubs have been outscored this year 70-41 in the opening inning. He's here with 2 outs, nobody on. Castro will make it a 1-2-3 first. That's a good start for Jackson. Cubs coming up when we come back. Five of the last 10 games. We'll see what transpires today as we get their Mazda lineup, brought to you by Mazda and the 2014 Mazda 3 with seamless connectivity. Coughlin, Baez, Rizzo at the top, Castro, Valbuena, Alcantara in the middle, Ruggiano, Castillo, and Jackson at the bottom.
The Rays have been solid defensively this year. They've committed 55 errors. That's the 3rd fewest in the American League. Joyce, Jennings, Kiermaier cover the outfield. Longoria, Escobar, Zobrist, Loney on the infield. Jose Molina, he's the oldest catcher in Major League Baseball, pushing 40 years of age. Behind the plate for the rookie, Jake Odorizzi, 7-9 with a 4.09 ERA through 22 starts. Real good in June, real good in July. 4-1 with a 2.90 in July. And as we showed you in the Open, struggled last time out, but for the most part, having a real good rookie year. He was their #1 prospect coming into the season.
Nice crowd on hand today as the Cubs bat for the first time against Odorizzi. He grew up a Cardinal fan in Highland, Illinois, about 30 minutes east of St. Louis. Coghlan went to East Lake High School, Tarpon Springs, Florida, in the Tampa area, and he takes a strike.
Not a hard thrower, but he has an effective fastball that he'll work up in the zone and made more effective by a real good changeup. Also throws a slider and a curveball, but changeup probably his best pitch now, and it's been kind of a late developing pitch for him. Learned it from his teammate Alex Cobb, who will pitch tomorrow. A split grip changeup.
Yeah, he's been involved in a couple of interesting deals. That was on a hop to Zobrist, who makes the play. Odorizzi has already been involved in trades for Zach Greinke and James Shields.
Well, and we take a look a little deeper at his numbers. His whip of 1.35. That's a little higher than average for an American League starter, but the OPS is good. He's a fly ball pitcher, just a 34% ground ball rate. That's well below the norm. Gets a lot of swings and misses with the changeup and the elevated fastball, so a good strikeout rate, and just a little higher than league average in terms of free passes from the young right-hander.
Interesting as Baez digs in. I don't remember the Rays doing this yesterday, unless you do. They have shifted.
Final at bat, I think.
Last at bat.
Yeah.
Starting to see more teams shift against right-handed hitters. Here's the 1-0. It's low. Single in his first at bat and a run yesterday in his Wrigley Field debut, and then he struck out his final 4 times.
Yeah, and I don't know how much intel they have on Baez from his minor league career, but I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Maddon is shifting here primarily just to get in his head a little bit, to see if Baez was as a young player, boy, I should probably try to poke that ball through the right side, and that's exactly what Maddon would rather see. Baez trying to do that as opposed to taking that big swing.
3-1 on him. It was the change, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of a funky split. He calls it a hybrid split change as opposed to just a straight change.
Fastball for a strike. It's 3-2. Javier has not walked yet this year. He's got 5 hits, 3 have been home runs, and 19 at bats.
That take a byproduct of all the swings and misses yesterday.
You're right. Ball, strike 3. How about that?
And that's that's kind of the thing that Mike Olt got into when he was swinging and missing so much. He was trying to show more patience, and then he ended up taking hittable pitches, and that's just paint right there. That's a quality pitch. One of those, you go after it, you're probably not going to do a whole lot with it anyway. But I would imagine Ricky Renteria would say to Baez, hey, now, you're swinging and missing. You struck out 4 times yesterday, but don't lose that aggressive approach.
Rizzo, a day after his 25th birthday. 1 ball, no strikes. He's shifting against Rizzo the other direction. And on the hands that time, 1-2.
Hard in to set up the splitter down and away. Unless Molina decides to double up inside with the fastball, which a lot of guys try to do because Anthony's right on top of home plate.
Ball, line, foul by less than a foot.
Well, he thought he had a home run yesterday and ended up staying in the ballpark for a 2-base hit. This time he's probably sure he had a double, but just foul by about a foot. Anthony really going through one bad spurt this whole year. He's been so consistent.
We might push this one to the seats, and it does. Behind the bullpen. We have aerial coverage today, and it's provided by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Battle continues. Another 1-2 and a swing and a miss to end the inning. 2 strikeouts for Odorizzi. There he is. The one dunk.
Oh, if only I could.
Of the lake.
We have Christopher Cross. He was the 80s.
Sailing. We can just sing it.
You can just sing it.
No. Evan Longoria bounces to the shortstop Castro. 1 pitch, 1 out. Cub fans, make sure you check out Len and JD's baseball blog at WGNTV.com. Sponsored by Jeff Vukovich, your nationwide insurance agent serving the area for 36 years. To join up, contact Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. Jody Davis singing the stretch from yesterday on the blog. Joyce takes a sinker for a strike. Pinch hit go ahead single in the 8th inning yesterday. He's been streaky this year in terms of his home runs. 3 in his first 75 games, and he had 4 over a 6-game stretch. He's not homered down his last 20, but he is going to float one out into left center for their first hit. A 1-out base runner for Yunel Escobar, the shortstop. 0 for 9 lifetime against Jackson.
Joe Madden gets a couple extra left-handed bats in his lineup here today against Edwin Jackson, but it's not a real heavy left-handed hitting lineup that he's running out there. Left-handed hitters hitting .332 off of Edwin this year. Righty's .260.
So Edwin Jackson has bounced around a lot in his career. And the 3-year stretch with Tampa Bay still has more experience as a Ray or Devil Ray than with any other team. 87 appearances, 63 starts for Tampa Bay. 06, 07, 08. First year he was mainly a reliever. Runner goes, breaking ball outside, throw is going to be in plenty of time. Joyce out by a mile.
Joyce not a real base stealer. He was caught in the ball game yesterday on a busted play, and I'm guessing this is a hit and run here. He probably should have used a timeout right about there. Little face plant. He's running hard, but not particularly fast. Good throw by Castillo.
Joyce saying that's slow dirt here in Chicago. 2 outs, a 1-1 count on Escobar. 2-1.
You have to guess busted hit and run, don't you?
I would think so. 2-2. Jackson actually was traded by Tampa Bay to Detroit for Matt Joyce back in December of 08. Good effort by Ruggiano, another former Ray, but he just couldn't get it on the slide in the bullpen.
We're celebrating the 80s decade this home sin, as you can tell with all this fine music. Make sure to visit WrigleyField100.com for all the planned festivities. Come out and enjoy a ball game with the family before the school year begins. That's right, it's just around the corner. After tomorrow's series finale with the Rays, the Brewers are in for 4. Tickets can be yours at Cubs.com. That would be the first place Milwaukee Brewers, game and a half better than Pittsburgh coming into play today.
Three and 2 with 2 down. Close. Coghlan the grab. We will go to the bottom of the second. 0-0. Cub game today, playing hurt with a broken collarbone, but well enough to make it to the ballpark. Great to see her here. Dad,
Nick. Girl.
Cubs batting here in the second. Starlin Castro. Starlin's been hot at the plate here as of late. 7-game hitting streak during which he has 12 hits. Oh, 2.
Got a missile for a home run the other day in Denver when he and Baez went back to back.
Changeup missed in the dirt. 1-2 the count.
He had been in a pretty good funk and come out of that in a big way.
Fouled upstairs, still 1-2. Oh, we got to mention Lou Piniella, since he managed both of these teams. He's going into the Mariners Hall of Fame. He's in Seattle this weekend. Castro swings and misses. Boy, what a run Lou had, a decade in Seattle. 116 wins in 01. Got a little emotional turning to Seattle.
I bet.
840 regular season wins.
I mean, Lou gets emotional when he gets up for coffee in the morning.
He does.
In that situation.
First manager honored by the Mariners. They've got a ceremony before the game tonight against the White Sox. So many great Lou stories, but I think my favorite was Lou sitting at his desk like in August of 01. His team is like 55 games over 500, and a witness said he's poring over his lineup and he just throws the card down on his table. He says, I can't make out a lineup with this team. Lou, you're 73 games ahead of the second place team. It's going to be okay.
Some of those managers, all they do, they take a little bit of a fatalistic approach sometimes.
I can't come up with a lineup. This is all I have to work with. Swing and a miss on the change. Nasty stuff. 4 straight strikeouts now for Odorizzi.
Cub fans, if you want to manage the game along with Rick Renteria, log on to WGNTV.com right now. Click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner, and there you'll be able to connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and information while you watch from home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape. Pools, patio sets, play sets, hot tubs, and more. If you were managing along with Rick, you might say, hey, fellas, how about a little contact? Ground ball to second and 4 consecutive punch-outs.
Funny how the game works. Odorizzi was really bad his last time out. Hey, you need some sunglasses, JD?
Yeah, I always.
Odorizzi's shortest start with Tampa Bay, 3 innings, gave up 5 runs in the first. Swing and a miss. He strikes out the side. Dexy's Midnight Runners. Put your overalls on and dance. For our speed replay brought to you by Xfinity, our great friend and colleague Doug Stanton's last day. He's headed south down to Nashville, and we are excited for him, but we're sad personally as well that he's leaving. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports, but we got some free cake out of it today.
Well, there's always that.
That's the consolation prize. So he was on the marquee today, and I guess taking pictures, and a couple people walked up to him and said, "Who's that?" He goes, "That's me."
Me, that would be me.
So we were looking to get Doug some going away gifts here as Jose Molina steps in. I don't know what you got him, JD, but I got him a Cubs umbrella, some gourmet popcorn. I got him a Cubs party hat, a birthday hat. I got him the 4th of 10 bobblehead giveaways. I bought, wasn't given away, purchased it. Got a couple of T-shirts here. What'd you get him?
I like how you're surprised by each thing you got him. Well, I got him a Cubs umbrella.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Really?
I did.
Well, he's got 2 umbrellas.
Yeah. And
he's got kids.
Cubs fedora.
Okay.
The Cubs birthday hat.
All right.
Oh, you know what? Take that, Doug. Somebody else is getting the Cubs fedora.
Very nice. Don't throw the umbrella.
No.
Don't
Throw the bobblehead. Hey, I got an Ernie Banks bobblehead for you, Doug.
Very nice.
Man, we got this is the Christmas for Doug Stanton. I'm going to retire.
Been in, it's 3-2. Also, we got you some Vienna Sport Peppers, Doug. We got you some Vienna Chicago style relish and some Vienna hot Giardiniera.
So you can dress your hot dogs.
That I bought.
Your Italian beef. And I got you this extra large T-shirt that will fit me just nice.
It's for Doug. Molina takes the walk to start the inning.
Wow, what a boondoggle.
The Giardiniera will go well with the kernel corn.
Well, in all sincerity, Doug, best wishes, my friend.
Yes.
Well, this works out well for Joe Maddon, doesn't it? With his pitcher here in the 8-hole, Molina working the leadoff walk. Odorizzi with a chance to bunt him over. Not an easy chance because Molina doesn't run well.
Comes it back, takes a strike.
Well, I imagine what Joe Maddon's thinking there. Let's maybe take one whack at it. You get a cripple fastball. If they're playing the bunt aggressively, Molina, a slow-footed guy, maybe we can make something happen. Odorizzi, a good athlete in high school. He handles the bat pretty well. No indication of bunting here.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Wrigleyville Rooftops has premier seating for up to 200 guests for corporate gatherings, family reunions, and bachelor or bachelorette parties. Individual and group tickets are available for all games. For more details, go to WrigleyvilleRooftops.com or call 773-248-ROOF. Congrats to Chicago's Jackie Robinson West baseball team. They have advanced to the Little League World Series. They're off to Williamsport. We're all rooting for you. Here's Kevin Kiermaier.
They were down early in that ball game, 5-zip.
Kiermaier had an eventful game yesterday. Pinch hit, played right field late. Struck out, reached base on a wild pitch. Very odd play that we saw in the game, and then in the 10th had the game-winning RBI single. Second consecutive game winner for him. He won the game in Oakland on Wednesday.
Yeah, odd in that it was a ball that did not get away from John Baker, who was catching. It was just he short hopped it. Kiermaier thought he had walked. It was a check swing, but Eric Cooper, the home plate umpire, ruled swing. Anthony Rizzo, playing first base, assumed walk, never covered first base, and Kiermaier went down the line as if he had walked, so there's no sense of urgency on anybody's part. And John Baker had nowhere to throw the ball because Anthony didn't cover.
Outside 3-0. Rizzo just didn't know that it was a strikeout. He thought it was a walk, but you got to cover first and ask questions later. Right down the middle, it's 3-1. I mentioned Molina and his lack of speed. He is 3 for 3 in the stolen base department this year. Maybe like his younger brother Yadier. He does that sneak attack every once in a while. Shallow center. Alcantara racing in. He caught it. Nicely done by the converted infielder, now playing center.
I made a real pretty catch in Denver on a sinking line drive. Here more of a pop-up that he has to cover a lot of ground on. And indeed he does. Nice play, and then quickly to his feet to check to see if he has any shot at doubling up Molina.
Back to the top, and Jennings, he flying to the warning track out in left center to lead off the ball game, and he takes a slider for a strike. Molina led off the inning with a walk. He's still at first with 2 outs. The pitch is in. a good look at the Cubs alignment defensively. Man, if you just looked at that shot, you'd say, how is it that guys only hit 270, 280? So much green space. They should all hit about 800, shouldn't they? That's not how it works.
Yeah, well, Alcantara just showed you why they don't. You don't hit it on a line, that area gets a little tighter.
By the way, I mentioned Alcantara, the converted middle infielder. He's not done playing the infield. He's just playing center every day right now because of Baez at second and obviously Castro at short. 3-2, and that one hit high in the air. It'll be playable again for Alcantara, just onto the warning track. Well, we have all these my first Cubs game signs. Doug Stanton with my last Cubs game sign.
Third, we are scoreless. Cubs Charities and Magellan Corporation partnered with 47 Chicago-based nonprofits, celebrities, and artists to paint 50 pairs of custom-made ballpark seats commemorating Wrigley Field's 100th season. The seats were on display along Michigan Avenue. Perhaps you saw them. Now up for auction through 8 p.m. tomorrow night. All proceeds will be split between Cubs Charities and the respective partnering organization. Visit Cubs.com/chairs to place your bid. There's Len and Harry. Jack and Ron.
Jack Brickhouse. There's a base hit. Justin Ruggiano gets the Cubs on the hit board. He snaps a string of 5 straight strikeouts by Odorizzi. Bring up the catcher, Castillo.
Ruggiano able to lean out and just lift that one into shallow left field.
Finals from earlier this afternoon. Toronto with a run to tie it in the 9th and another in the 10th to beat Detroit 3-2 up at Rogers Center. Swing and a miss. Nolan Reimold with the game-ending RBI double in the 10th. Day to be out on the water. One. Now back to the screen. 1-2.
Jose Molina has not done much with the bat this year. He's not particularly mobile behind home plate, but he grades out very highly in terms of pitch framing. Veteran guy, been around a long time now. So the game calling part of the game very strong, and the pitch framing a big asset. Very quiet back there.
He's the oldest active catcher, 39 years old. His major league debut as a Cub back in 1999. When he comes up next time, we'll have some fun with that. 1-2 on the Cubs catcher. Check on Ruggiano. Indians 3, Yankees nothing. The final. Corey Kluber. 6 more excellent innings. 0.68 is his ERA since the All-Star break. And the Indians snapped a 4-game losing streak.
Struck out 10 today in 6 innings.
13 wins now for Kluber. Ruggiano runs. The ball is fouled back our way.
And that's one thing I talked about Molina and his assets behind the plate. He's always been a good thrower too. That runs in the family. They all throw well. Molina 27% caught this year for his career, 37%, which is way above average. Their dad was a pitcher, and all the Molina brothers became catchers.
In the air, Jennings closes in on it. That's the first out. Let's step aside, see what's coming up on WGN. Great to have you with us from beautiful Wrigley Field in Chicago. Rays and Cubs. Interleague action this weekend. Len and JD and our WGN sports crew. Jackson 2 hits in his last start in Los Angeles. 168 in his career. Squares to bunt and bunts foul. Boy, the corner guys are playing back. Longoria way back at third. You see Joe Madden's comment? He said, if I felt like I played yesterday, having to do all the maneuvering as a National League manager, or at least an American League manager in a National League park, assisted by former Cub Dave Martinez.
Yeah, it's interesting with this American League club in here and Jackson up there. And I think if there were a National League club on the field, the third baseman would be on the grass before the pitch. And Longoria has been back on the dirt a couple of steps and just starts to creep in as Jackson shows bunt. The National League club is just going to assume bunt. That's probably what they're doing too. Now he's coming a little bit more aggressively.
And a strike called. So now Edwin down 0-2. Ginola Rizzi's from Highland, Illinois. His senior year in high school, he led the Highland High School Bulldogs to the Class 3A state title in Illinois. Originally drafted by the Brewers, 2008. Bunts it foul for a strikeout, number 6. The first 9 hitters for Odorizzi.
Joe Madden, when Odorizzi was up there with Molina on first, opted not even to show bunt. He struck out. Jackson here trying to get a bunt down, cannot. Coghlan's going to have to hit one down the liner in a gap to score Ruggiano, or the Cubs are going to have to put a couple of hits together to get on the board here.
Coghlan turns on one. One strike on Coghlan. Giano back in time. Rays started up with the Diamondbacks back in 1998, and it was a rough go. They did not have a winning season until they won the American League East and the pennant in 2008. They went from worst to first that year. Swing and a foul, or a miss rather. Didn't get a piece of it. 0-2.
Yeah, it seemed like they were just trying to piece it together there in the early days, bringing in a lot of veteran guys with really good resumes, but they're on the the downsides of their career. Guys that might marquee names that would draw some people to the ballpark, but really help them win a lot of ball games.
Their first manager was Larry Rothschild before he became the pitching coach of the Cubs. Yeah, they had John Flaherty, Fred McGriff, Miguel Cairo, Dave Martinez. We just showed you. Wade Boggs was on that original club as Coghlan strikes out. You two should do a new song. Call it Where the Streets Have Names. Belmont and Racine. upcoming schedule. The first place Brewers come in for 4 starting Monday night. Then we'll hit the Big Apple for the final time this year at the Mets. That is a wraparound series that'll end on Monday the 18th. Then the Giants and the Orioles here at Wrigley Field. Ford, go further in any one of Ford's many fuel-efficient vehicles. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. That is a Brewers flag, we are told. That's got the old school logo, all in glove. Whitney Houston, as we came out of break. Is that I Want to Dance with Somebody?
I believe it was. Feel the heat, but it's a baseball thing.
Boy, she had 1-1. Make it 1-2 on the switch hitting Zobrist.
Good changeup there for Edwin Jackson. A pitch he used more frequently in his last start against the Dodgers than he typically does. Even if you don't make a lot of quality pitches with the changeup, just the fact if you throw enough of them, you're going to get the hitters off the fastball a little bit.
That's deep right field. Back on it is Ruggiano, and he cannot make the catch. And it rests in the vines now. He's putting his arms up. And obviously Zobrist is going to keep on running. The first base umpire Hal Gibson is putting up 2 fingers. Yep, that's the right thing to do for Ruggiano. Once you lose that ball in the vines, you can't reach in there. Now Joe Madden will try to argue his case for a
trying to get a little clarification here.
Home run.
He wants to make sure he didn't reach in, and he didn't. He bent over, looked in, but he didn't reach in.
Well, that is the right thing to do, even though it hit his glove. It then dropped right into the ivy, and well, you start digging around in there, like was it Julio Zaletta back in the day?
Yeah,
then you find some trouble and probably ends up a home run. And I think Joe's saying, well, he got his glove on. But that's the ground rule. It's not as if he placed it in the vines.
Yeah, I think you can see by his body language, he's off the glove into the vines, kind of as if he's saying, what about a guy who bounces off his glove into the stands for a home run?
I understand his argument, but now he's having some fun with Tom Hallion. I'll tell you, that's a really nice play by Ruggiano to not panic. Obviously, it would have been great if you caught it, but your mind starts racing, right? Especially when your glove touches it, and you go, if I don't pick this up, we're down 1-0. As it is, leadoff man reaches second. Here's Lonan. Right center, and the diving grab by Alcantara. What a play. He's made a couple today. Tagging and moving to third is Zobrist.
He has been fun to watch out there of late. We referenced the play in Denver. 2 here today. 1 on a pop-up coming in here. Rushing towards the alley in right center on a sinking line drive.
I'll tell you something. The natural fluid movements he has, he makes it look easy, doesn't he?
He's very graceful.
Yeah.
Now we're going to appeal. Perhaps Zobrist had left a little early. Alan Porter, the second base umpire, the call says nope. Maybe did they not do it properly? There they go. Look like Baez wanted to do it again. Infield in now here with 1 out, and Zobrist on third base.
Longoria, the franchise career leader with 176 homers and a bunch knocked in. He's going to add to that total here. 603rd career RBI as he drives in Zobrist, who happens to be, by the way, their all-time doubles leader. 1-0 Tampa Bay.
3 really good swings here by the Rays in the fourth. The leadoff double by Zobrist on a fastball. Then Loney, even though he was retired by the great play by Alcantara, really emphasized the top hand to pull that ball towards right center. Alcantara robbed him, and Longoria immediately steps up and whacks a run-scoring double into left field. Time to regroup for Jackson and Castillo. They're going to talk it over out there on the mound.
Lots of street fairs here in Chicago during the summer. No better place to be.
Wow. Is that North Fest? Is that what that one was?
Not quite sure.
I think there's something called North Fest going on.
Some sort of fest.
You gotta love a fest. You know, anything that ends in fest is probably a good thing to go to.
Let's say so. North Halstead Market Days. How could you not know that?
Well, it's North Halstead, so hence North Fest.
Okay, I'll give you that one. Next time the blimp shoots some random neighborhood, I expect you to be all over it.
Whoop, slip. But he got a swing and a miss. Good slider.
1-2.
Despite the little slip, Jackson executes a very nice pitch.
Call strike 3. Love Tom Hallions called third. Going to do some back exercises to stretch out before the game to make this call. Watch this.
This is a punch out right here.
Frank Drebin.
Start that lawnmower.
You don't see a lot of the effusive calls like you used to.
No, there's no Dutch Rennert out there. Well, Jimmy Joyce will let you hear it. He's good and loud. Speaking of Dutch, and I know I've referenced this a couple times here in recent days, that interview that Bob Costas did with Torrey and La Russa and Bobby Cox, the Hall of Fame managers. He got asking them about umpires, and Torrey told a great story about Dutch Rennert, but I'm not going to go into unless this pitch is not put in play.
Is that a threat?
It's a tease. Okay, so Rennert was famous for his ball strike call, and it was really loud and emphatic. He'd step out, turn sideways, strike one. And he had a reputation of being a good ball strike umpire. And he was umpiring first one day. Torrey thought he blew a call. So Joe goes out screaming at him. He said, Dutch, how come you can be so good of a ball and strike umpire and so bad on the bases? And Dutch looks him right in the eye and goes, amazing thing, isn't it? They just completely disarmed Torrey. He had nowhere to go. Dutch said, yeah, isn't that weird?
That's how you do it. Escobar into right. It's going to drop for a hit.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
And Ruggiano got flat-footed, and Longoria scores easily.
He forgot there was a man on base.
I think he did. 2-0 Rays.
The mental error at first base yesterday, and now Ruggiano on a ball that he might have had a shot at with Longoria. This ball goes out to right field, a little something on it, and Justin completely forgets that Longoria was on base until then, but then it's too late.
So 3 hits and 2 runs in the inning. That'll bring up Molina. Ground ball to first. Rizzo retires Molina. Some police and the fire station as we go to break. I think arguing his case on the ball that rested in the vines. Interesting argument. I think he's trying to say to Tom Hallion, if the ball hits your glove and it goes over the wall, they give you a home run, but it didn't. It went into the vines. That ground rule is a ground rule, and I think they got that one right. Well, we've got some food. The 80s homestand features the Kraft Sloppy Joe, the blackened tilapia po' boy, and the 1980s Nacho Dog. Levy Restaurants.
Nacho Dog, that's my dog. Ooh, look at that.
Very nice. Vienna beef hot dog topped with tortilla strips, nacho cheese, salsa, and pickled jalapenos. Kraft Sloppy Joe has Kraft cheese served on a toasted bun. A tilapia sandwich, blackened tilapia seasoned with Cajun spices, served on a toasted hoagie roll. Shredded lettuce, tomatoes, and Cajun aioli. Anything on a hoagie is good.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. And a hoagie at a fest is really good.
$2-0 Rays.
Here's the open face version. Javi Baez do something big. Ooh, Mr. Leanback.
He did not swing in his first plate appearance, which resulted in a called strike 3.
A little late getting started, and again I think there's a little deception in the delivery for Odorizzi, but mostly it's that splitter.
1-2. He struck him out. Odorizzi. Wow. 8 strikeouts only in the 4th inning.
Join us for the 5th annual Boy Scout night on Tuesday. The Cubs play the Brewers. First pitch at 7:05. Boy Scouts and their families who purchase specially priced tickets through the Cubs special events page will participate in a post-game lap, and they'll receive a uniform patch. Tickets and details are only available through Cubs.com/special events.
Odorizzi has made, 28 starts. In his career, career high is 11 in terms of strikeouts. He's reached double digits twice. And you see Rizzo is trying to bunt his way on, and that's, I think, why.
Yeah, well, Rizzo's been in a funk lately. $185 in August, 118 his batting average over the last 7 days. Struck out first time up. Cubs have put 3 balls in play so far this afternoon. There's 4.
But it is an out. Our aerial coverage today is provided by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Are you going to work? There's a high blimp over the mound into the telecast today, like you do with choppers.
Yeah, I don't know that. You have a high chopper over the mound. I don't know what a high blimp over the mound would be.
Is it just me, or have we seen more bizarre plays this year compared to most?
Well, I'm going to say
plays where we're looking at ground rules and different things that we haven't seen before.
I'm going to say at least 3 times this year I've said, I don't think I've ever seen that before. I was thinking about that earlier today, as a matter of fact, and I was thinking about last year. How many times did we say? I know on the Segura funky steal of first base play. There might have been one other, but I forget. But the high blimp over the mound, working its way down the first baseline.
I think the blimp is staying right where it is, but the earth is its normal rotation. Castro with a base hit. Gives him an 8-game hitting streak. And the second hit for the Cubs today. Ever had that feeling when we're sitting on the team bus and the bus next to us backs up and it feels like we're moving forward? As Stephen Wright would say, I feel like that all the time. Here's Valbuena. Everybody in this lineup, save for Ruggiano and Castillo, has struck out in this game. We're only in the 4th inning.
Well, 2 things on Castro's base running. One, probably a little more effort going down the line on the base hit. And I know he's been talked about it ad nauseum. And 2, be ready to take advantage of that ball in the dirt.
Hit the corner.
Frustrating for Ricky Renteria when you watch a guy get a base hit and kind of break it down 3/4 of the way down the line. Go ahead, make a hard turn at first base. Give yourself a chance to get to second on any kind of a bobble out there in the outfield. The Rockies the other day did a great job of that.
Especially with 2 outs. And that extra base is at a premium to try to get into scoring position.
Right. I mean, for me, getting caught at second, trying to take an extra base on a little bit of a bobble in the outfield is a better play than just conceding you're going to have no chance to get there and just breaking it down and then not being able to try to advance on a missed play. Well, we saw Morneau do it. Pedroia when we were in Boston. You just watch those guys run the bases and you say, oh, okay.
And Molina held on to it. That is number 9 now for Odorizzi, leading 2-0. Everywhere he goes now, it's polite criticisms, I suppose. Started, I believe, in New York. Hunter Pence thinks Alcatraz is still active. Jake Odorizzi pops up. Caught by Castro for the out. One away here in the Tampa Bay 5th. Eats pizza with a fork.
Puts ketchup on his hot dog. So it's a New York thing as well as a Chicago thing.
And he has fully embraced it.
Yeah, he's become a real cult hero out there in San Francisco. When we were out there, the whole scooter gate thing was going on. Somebody had swiped his scooter downtown. Signs were popping up all over town, offering freebies for the safe return of Hunter's scooter. I think I saw one sign, a year of supply of ramen noodles. If the
those Giants players have a way of becoming cult heroes, don't they? They're treated like royalty out there for the most part, especially when the team is really good.
Yeah, you start winning World Series and that happens.
Yep. Kiermaier pops up. Thursday, August 14th, the Cubs wrap up their series and homestand with the Brewers at 1:20, and the first 10,000 fans get a Cubs Fathead presented by Pepsi and Navy Pier. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. That's the thing I think you stick up on your wall.
Jackson gave up some pretty solid contact there in the 4th, gave up 2 runs, but other than that, he's been throwing the ball well. Didn't walk anybody last time out, just 1 walk so far here this afternoon.
Jackson's 1-1, hit on the ground at third. That's Valbuena. And that's the inning. About some men without hats. 2-0 Rays.
No friends of mine. I say we can go where we want to.
Official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds.
Cameo. 2-0 Rays. Cubs batting in the fifth. Lady, can you hand me my stomach?
Ooh, there you go.
Tiannis atop the scoreboard today. On the scoreboard, we're in the air. We're on the air. We're everywhere. Cubs have done very little against Jake Odorizzi, who grew up a Cardinal fan. Pitching in this ballpark for the first time here in the big leagues.
What he's doing here this afternoon, not unprecedented. May 9th against Cleveland, 11 strikeouts in 5 shutout innings. .3 strikeouts per 9, sixth best in the major leagues this year. AL rookie record is 10.4 strikeouts per 9. Yu Darvish has that mark. All-time best strikeout rate for a rookie, Kerry Wood, 1998. More than 12 strikeouts for every 9 innings pitched.
Hooked, foul through the bullpen.
Contra with a couple sparkling plays in the field. Looking to get something started here in the bottom of the fifth.
Fly ball out into left center. It's surrounded by Jennings, and he makes a grab. Stay tuned for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds. Former Notre Dame basketball coach Digger Phelps will sing. Hi. JD's hiding behind his monitor. Carrie Muscat tweeted something kind of intriguing. I don't think Odorizzi will strike out 20, but she notes that through 4 innings in Kerry Wood's 20 strikeout game in '98, he had 8 total, and Odorizzi with 9. So he's on a record pace. Swing and a miss on the change.
Some different styles, of course. Is he doing it with the deception, with the 90-mile-an-hour fastball and that good splitter? Kerry Wood was just overpowering with velocity and a breaking ball that was moving about 3.5 feet.
That flag commemorating one of the best pitching performances, not only in Cubs history, but Major League history. Gave up 1 hit. 2-2. Longoria will not have a play. Orioles lead the Cardinals 5-3. They're in the bottom of the 4th. In Baltimore, Nelson Cruz with his 30th. Caleb Joseph has hit his 8th. I believe he's now homered at 5 in a row.
Sounds right.
Saw an Orioles tweet earlier that mentioned that.
John Jay went deep for the Cardinals. Yes, 5 consecutive games for Joseph with a home run.
5-3 as they go to the 5th.
That's a 28-year-old rookie, Caleb Joseph. The story he's becoming there in Baltimore.
And that clipped Ruggiano. So he's on now for the 2nd time. And here comes Castillo, the catcher. For you to tweet us your selfie. That's me trying to figure out the camera before interviewing Javier Baez. Hashtag WGN Cubs. Thanks to Javier for our pregame chat. And we will air the whole interview tomorrow night on instant replay. 9:40 Central Time tomorrow night. Doug Stanton hasn't left us yet. We don't think. I don't think he's on that train.
I don't see him waving from the back of the train. I assume he's still at his post down there in the truck.
Welcome back.
In this instance, see you later.
Yeah.
Tried to hit and run with his tandem last time. Had Ruggiano on the move, but Castillo flew out, and you see Odorizzi, excuse me, with those fastballs up. Perhaps that's Doug hauling out of town.
Could be him too.
This
load up
is
the van.
becoming like a Where's Waldo thing.
There goes the runner. And Ruggiano is out.
Seems not to be convinced of that, and he's waiting for Rick Renteria to come out and press his case. So before you mark your scorecards at home, Let's wait and see if they decide to review it. We'll take a peek here. High fastball, so it takes Molina a little while to get down into throwing position. A little bit of a phantom tag. That is going to be interesting. Ball there in time. Luciano pops up.
Let's see.
Escobar swipes but misses initially and then gets him up high.
They're going to challenge.
Yeah, it looked to me. Well, we'll get another look here. I think he whiffs and then gets him up under the armpit there. And I can't tell for sure if Justin's on the bag or not prior to that.
Can't tell there if he got him on the first pass through. I think that first look was our best one.
Yeah.
It has to be conclusive to overturn. This look right here. Now watch the glove. You can't tell. That's too tough to tell.
Yeah.
They're going to need another angle.
It's possible that he brushed his leg on the way by. I don't think he did, but it's possible. If you're looking at different angles and kind of piece it together.
Can't tell really there either. On our looks, you can't overturn, but they may have another that we haven't seen.
Yeah, it's interesting. And without replay, that's probably a call you don't even argue, right?
Right.
The ball was there ahead of him. Looked like he was out. The player may press his case. The manager might come out and say, hey, you sure you got him? And the umpire goes, yeah, you got him. Move on. But given the way Odorizzi is pitching today and the lack of chances for the Cubs, you can understand Rick Renteria throwing his challenge flag here and hoping for a reversal. I'll give you a split screen look at it. I can't tell.
And we'll remind viewers again, the original call matters a lot. You're not looking at a replay and guessing what the call is. You have to find conclusive evidence contrary to what the original call was in order to overturn it. So we get tweets going, no, I mean, he didn't get him the first swipe through. That's our best guess, but you can't guess. They're taking a lot of looks at it in New York.
Listen to some music while we wait. Well done.
Buggles.
I'm Odorizzi, the way he's going along, I'd be tempted to say, hey, give him the base. Let's go. Let me pitch.
He's going to take some warm-up tosses just to stay warm.
Well, again, this is a point we've made many times this year. It seems to us that if it takes this long to find evidence of overturning the call, then there's just not enough there. But these guys have a tough job to do. Stick with the initial out call.
Ball stands. And again, my guess is he was safe. But I didn't see anything that I would say 100%, yeah, absolutely, he was safe. So a replay can only do so much in that regard. So Castillo now with 2 outs.
Yeah, and that's the Peter Chase just announcing across the way that the review umpires in New York saying the call stands. So that it's not confirmed. There's just not enough to overturn, right? Isn't that the verbiage?
Correct. It's pretty warm in the sun. We're getting the lake breeze. Really comfortable upstairs today. Four minutes, 10 seconds on the review. Three-2 hit in the air, center field. Back on it is Jennings, twisting and turning, and he makes a catch on the warning track. So the Cubs don't strike out here in the 5th for the first time in the ball game, but they do not score. They haven't scored yet. Comet Bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay, score, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or go to Cubs.com today. 2-0. The Rays got their runs in the 4th inning. And they will now bat here in the 6th.
Yeah, same cast of characters due up here that were due up in the 4th. Zobrist, Loney, Longoria to get it started. Zobrist and Longoria both hit doubles and both scored in the 4th.
Stan Crusette, who tweets us all the time, he's a really smart baseball fan. He just tweeted, "I think replay is showing us just how difficult an umpire's job is." I could not agree more. How many of these calls this year have we seen? And
right,
and they by and large get them right, and even the ones where, like the one at second, where you're not quite sure. I mean, you just gotta make a call.
Yeah, and you know, over the years doing this, how many times I've looked at replays on bang bang plays at first base and changed my mind from one look to the next, whether I think the runner's safe or out. And these guys are down there making the calls in real time without the benefit of replay. Now they have the benefit of replay, but for so many years did not. That was unfortunate.
1-1 on Zobrist. Outside 2-1. Here it is. Inside, that time on a slider.
As the game evolves, and we're seeing more and more about the value of having platoon advantage at bats and versatile players who can play all over the diamond. Zobrist becomes he's kind of the poster boy for that. Switch hitter, can play all over the diamond. Every manager would love to have one or two Ben Zobrist type players on their club.
Fouled off, still 3-2. Throwback date tomorrow. The Cubs will wear 88 throwbacks. This is what the Rays will wear. Of course, they weren't around back in the 1980s. Mark Topkin, who covers the team for the Tampa Bay Times, tweeting it out. The owner, Stu Sternberg, designed these uniforms, and he had the Padres in mind. You can kind of see the vibe.
Oh, yeah.
So those uniforms are just, they're new, but they've got a retro feel to them. Sternberg at the ballpark today.
Now, what is it in Stu's background that would lead him to design the uniform?
I don't know.
He must have a little artistic
He's the owner.
flair, huh? Yeah, he's the owner. He can do what he wants.
Ball 4.
Ben Zobrist, since 2009, according to Baseball Reference, has the third highest wins above replacement after Robinson Cano and Miguel Cabrera.
That's offense and defense. And he plays a lot of different positions. He's just a good player. Really good player, and as you mentioned, so versatile.
He's got some power. He can run a little bit. He's stolen 9 bases this year, been caught 4 times. Tried to run earlier in the ball game with Joyce. He was thrown out. Not sure if that was a busted hit and run play or not. I thought perhaps Escobar should have been swinging, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a straight steal. The numbers against Edwin this year would lead a manager to think he could steal some bases against him. Only a guy capable of pulling the ball through the hole on the right side here. Baez, a little deeper than you normally would in terms of your straight double play defense. Respecting Loney's ability to pull the ball here. A little deeper and a little further away from second base.
Yeah, you can see it, can't you?
Yeah, he might get accused of plagiarism.
Well, he said it though. He admitted it.
Right.
I'm fine.
He gave him a footnote. There's only so many things you can do.
Fly ball to center. Caught by Alcantara. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Rays leading 2-0 after winning in extras yesterday. Only the third ever series between these two teams. I heard Keith Olbermann mentioned kind of a funny little side note about those uniforms, which I kind of agree with him, even though I'm not going to lose sleep over it. He said, how can you go from being the Devil Rays in 1998 to the Rays to the Rays in 1980 whatever, kind of rewriting history. So the throwbacks should have been the Devil Rays or some other name that they had, quote, previously, right?
Well, there was a Florida State League team in Tampa for years, the Tarpons.
Could have been them.
Yeah, could have been them. White Sox actually were the Tampa Bay Tarpons for a while. The Reds were in there for a time.
08. They dropped Devil from their nickname. Diving stop, Valbuena, throw to second, dropped by Baez. It was in time. That'll be an error on Javier. What a play by Valbuena, but they don't get an out.
Leadoff walk, and now the misplay by Baez, trying to just be a little too quick here at second base, thinking two, never got one. Javier was out early today doing some early work around the bag. He doesn't have a lot of experience, remember, as a second baseman.
Yeah, when I talked to him earlier today, he said the first thing short to second, he felt like everything was backwards, but then said he was, had gotten comfortable. Well, he just clanked it. Now Joyce is singled, been caught stealing, and has struck out looking. Swing and a miss. Here's Baez on moving from short to second.
Like I said before, the first two games it was kind of hard. I was seeing everything backwards, but then I got used to it and it's normal now.
1-1. Jackson trying to keep the Cubs close here, trailing by 2. Three and one. They're loaded for Escobar, second walk of the inning. No hits in the inning, 2 walks and an error.
Time to make some pitches here. Get a ground ball double play, get out of here. First, Chris Baggio is going to come out and check in with Jackson. It's the case typically when Edwin gets in trouble, he really slows down. Correa's going to get somebody going in the bullpen.
Jacob Turner will be here in the next day or so. Probably will be on the 25-man roster, and we would imagine start out in the bullpen.
Fujikawa start to crank it up. Jackson has been plagued by the big inning this year. You see he's allowed 24 one-run innings and with a two-run inning here in the fourth, as many multiple-run innings, and you see where he ranks in that regard. 8th most in the NL in terms of one-run innings, 2nd most in terms of 2+ run innings. One here would probably be okay.
Faces Escobar. It was almost behind home plate in the quote on deck circle, getting ready. Won this badly.
Usually count on Escobar to make contact. Doesn't strike out much.
Up the middle, base hit. 2 runs are going to score. Zobrist is in. Boy, a little closer than I thought it was going to be, as Longoria scores as well. 4-0. Escobar's knocked in 3 today.
Just a fastball right down the heart of the plate. This is much closer than I anticipated. Contra, that's one of the parts of the outfield play he's going to have to work on a little bit, just getting a little longer with his arm action, but decent throw there.
Jose Molina, originally drafted by the Chicago Cubs in 1993. This was the starting lineup September the 6th of '99 when he debuted, catching Micah Bowie. Johnson, Myers, Sosa, Grace Hill, Nieves, Liniak at third. 15 years ago, Jim Riggleman wrote out that lineup. I don't know Jose, but I'm 100% sure that if we said to him today, if you go back to the September of 1999 and we said in 2014 you're still playing in the big leagues, he probably would have said, I'll take it.
Absolutely.
I'm in.
Most guys sign their first professional contract, they just want to make it to the big leagues. And once they get here, they hope they can stick around for 3 or 4 years. Once they get past that, then all right, maybe I can do this for a good long while.
Chop to third. Valbuena will get Molina at first. Second and third now with 2 outs.
Four-run lead the way Odorizzi's pitching. He's going to take this at bat. Might be tempted to say, boy, what a bonehead Joe Madden is. He's got his pitcher in the 8-hole. He can have an 8th-place hitter up here and Odorizzi next, but they would walk the 8-hole hitter to pitch to him anyway.
Pair of 2-run innings for the Rays, giving them this lead as Odorizzi, I think on his own, just decided, I'm going to try to bunt.
Right side of the infield was back. Probably figured he had a fighting chance of beating it out if he got a good push bunt out there past Jackson towards second base.
Call strike 3. Rick Springfield to break. 4-0 Tampa Bay. Summary. Start something special with great leases and low financing. On a new Honda, visit shophonda.com or go to your local Honda dealer. Jake Odorizzi, 9 strikeouts, no walks today. You see Edwin Jackson allowing 4 runs, 3 earned. He will be done as Ryan Sweeney's going to pitch hit for him. I didn't think Edwin's defense played particularly well behind him, save for Alcantara making a couple of nice catches.
Alcantara made a couple of real good catches. There was a little breakdown mentally by Justin Ruggiano on the base hit to right, where perhaps he would have had a shot at Longoria at home plate. And, of course, the error by Baez last inning contributing to that 2-run inning for the Rays. So, all in all, pretty solid effort from Jackson here this afternoon. But clearly not good enough to this point, as Odorizzi has just completely handcuffed the Cubs hitters.
Okay, so technically this will be a quality start, right? So 4 runs, 3 earned in 6 innings. And before you start tweeting, that's not a quality start. The Cubs now have 59 quality starts this year. In their first 58 before today, you know what their starters' ERA was in quality starts?
I do not.
It wasn't 4.5.
No.
1.88. That's why I like the stat. And the Cubs are only 33-25 when they get a quality start. The record should be a lot better than that. Did you like my complain voice?
It was good.
My whiny
yeah.
voice?
Conveyed the message.
And I would also say the quality start stat is a much better kind of bigger picture stat as opposed to a one particular day. Zobrist. They get Sweeney.
Well, it was Fujikawa. Now it's Chris Russin, the lefty, up, getting ready to work. there just has not been much going on for the Cubs offensively. Not just the strikeouts, but most of the other outs, just lazy pop-ups and fly balls.
Two and one to Coghlan. It feels to me, especially with some left-handed hitters today, JD, that the pitches they felt like they've been able to drive have been in off the plate to a point where they're hitting them 70 feet foul.
Yeah, getting in on the hands and kind of just popping it up. There's one there. So he's got, again, he's not lighting up the radar gun. That fastball has been 89, 90 all afternoon, but there's life up in the zone. They're not able to get on top of it.
At some point down the road, it'd be fun to watch an Odorizzi-Hendricks matchup, wouldn't it? Change-up city. Caught by Joyce.
Aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Baez has struck out both times today. Looking in the first, swinging in the fourth.
That would be 6 consecutive strikeouts for Javi after a single to get his day started yesterday.
Shift again to the pull side, and a big home run cut and a miss. 2 homers Thursday at Colorado, youngest Cub to hit 2 in a game since Danny Murphy, September 27th, 1961 versus St. Louis. He was 35 days into his 19-year-old season. As 21. Two strikes on him.
Anything soft in the strike zone here would be a mistake. Really, could argue anything in the strike zone would be a mistake here. Calls for a breaking ball or a changeup out of the zone or a high fastball.
Change up. Got away from him.
Molina's framing it. That's pretty good. Molina having a little fun with the guys in his dugout. Yeah, kind of slips. Watch Molina. Brings it back down into the zone. Giving Tom Hellion a good long look. You sure?
Controlling the strike zone. That's a phrase you hear a lot about a batter. Baez had been improving in that area before he got called up. Outside, 3-2. That's controlling your strike zone right there on that pitch. You don't think of a batter having control. You think of a pitcher.
Yeah, well, yeah,
self-control.
Hitters, we talk about discipline.
Yeah.
It's going to be a challenge for him. Down in AAA, he swung and missed a whole bunch, and seeing most of these pitchers for the first time. High expectations. Big response from the crowd yesterday when he was announced for the first time. Headlines in the Tribune today talking about his 4 strikeout game. So for a 21-year-old kid, there's a whole lot to think about.
He's extended this at bat here. He drives one to left. And it's going to one hop the barrier. Baez on his way to second. He's got a double. First extra base hit that has not left the yard. 3 homers and a double to start his career.
Well, just staying in that at bat was the key. Fouling off a couple of tough pitches, laying off that slider out of the zone, enough so that Odorizzi ultimately felt like he had to challenge him, and Baez put a good swing on it.
Here comes a pitching coach, Jim Hickey. Javier told me Manny Ramirez and A-Rod were his 2 idols growing up, and he got a chance to play with Manny at Iowa.
Yeah, I learned a lot from him, and a lot of guys did, but I learned how to do my approach, AB for AB, and not look for fastballs inside that I was doing, and that's why I started really slow.
And driving the ball the other way, that's something Manny was really good at.
Yeah, he told me when he hit, he never think the fastball inside. He just react to it, and he would get to it too.
Found back by Rizzo.
You hear that a lot from hitting coaches. Look away, react in. Trust that you can get to the fastball in, or be able to disregard it if you're looking away. Of course, Manny, one of the best right-handed hitters of all time, and awfully quick.
Swing and a miss on the change.
And that's, there's a difference to be made. We talk a lot about Javi Baez's bat speed. He generates enormous bat speed. But, when I'm talking about Manny, it's more of the quick path, the ability to get to the ball in because of a short, quicker path to the ball.
One and two. See the Rays shift. And Zobrist playing that rover spot. And shallow right. Way high on a fastball.
Working harder here in the 5th and 6th as he breezed through the first 4 innings.
Rizzo against Odorizzi.
Could be historical.
No one bounced in front of the plate.
Well, that's expanding the zone right there. He threw a 9-foot-high fastball and then bounced changeup.
Well, he's changing the eye level.
He is indeed. Molina with the hands of a shortstop back there.
Hit foul off of third. All the bullpen mounds are busy right now, 2 in each. Carlos Villanueva has joined Chris Russin in the Cubs bullpen. Looks like former Cub Jeff Beliveau is up for the Rays along with Kirby Yates, a righty. 3-2 line. Look at that. Right at the second baseman Zobrist in shallow right. Something to Truck is a big William Shatner fan. He's stuck on TJ Hooker there for a while. I like it. Oh, 80s, man. Rays 4, Cubs nothing as we get into the 7th inning. And the 80s, a good decade for Digger Phelps, too. Digger, how are you?
Who?
We're doing great. Chris Russin is on.
I was impressed with the road trip. You guys did a great job with the Dodgers and obviously Colorado. Last night was tough, and this one's tough. That wind blowing in, you don't know what to expect, as you well know.
And the weather changes here every day. Sometimes in the middle of a ball game. Lefty versus lefty. Russin, Kiermaier, and he swings and misses 0-2. What's new? What's going on?
Things are quiet in between, I guess what you would say, getting ready for football. The Bears playing last night, and obviously the LeBron James issue with the NBA and Mr. Love. If I'm LeBron James, who didn't play college basketball, I want to sit down, even though he's won a championship, and talk to Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and say, what do I need to do? What do you see about my game that you don't like that I can learn from? Because he didn't play college ball. You know, he goes from high school in. And I think that's what he's been. When you take a look at what San Antonio did for them last year, Tim Duncan, the senior, points in the paint, start with the center, inside out versus outside in. You know, when you look at Wade and Bosh and James, I think that's what he needs to do with his game. And that's just from being a coach to a player relationship. As we get a strikeout.
So he's back in Cleveland, which is very interesting how things have come full circle for him.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting because they got pressure to win it. I mean, that's how it is. But that's just that standpoint. When you look at college basketball this coming season, I just think it's up for grabs. And when you look at teams out there, yeah, all right, Carolina, Duke, and the ACC. We look at Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State, and the Big Ten, of course, being local. Kansas is always there with them. And I think UCLA, Alfred's doing a good job out there in the Pac-12. But the SEC, it's always Kentucky and Billy Donovan in Florida. So who's going to be this year's Wichita State?
Yep.
To be seen. And watch the teams with juniors and seniors. They always show up. But I think the three-point shot, to me, has killed college basketball. I'd move that line back another 2 feet.
I'm with you on that.
And bring the game to the centers again, like Tim Duncan, and go outside in, get their big guys in foul trouble, put them on the bench. Now you control the boards, now you control the game. Just like pitching is the key, and that's a nice pitch for a strike.
I was going to ask you because, you know, we've talked a lot about, you know, baseball evolving a little bit here, you know, more shifting and things of that. In the college game, is there kind of a next level? Is there something coming, you know, teams finding an edge, you know, sabermetrics? Is there anything going on analytically in college basketball that's kind of changing the way people think about it?
I think the teams that show up are the teams that play with their post players. You know, you can take a game and all of a sudden here's 30 shots, 20 have been threes. All right, and here's your 6'10" rebounder ready to get a shot, but it's a three which goes over his head. The other team gets the ball, goes down, scores in a fast break. So the first 20 of the 30 shots are threes versus let's get the ball inside 20 times and then run stuff on the weak side with screens, which is a lost art. All you see today is a dribble screen against zone and man and shooting threes, and that's not college basketball.
Luciano battling the sun.
Ooh, nice catch.
And he's got it on the warning track.
Nice catch. So that's where that is. But baseball, to me, as you well know, my son-in-law, the former Jamie Moyer.
The former Jamie Moyer.
Former Jamie Moyer with baseball.
Well, I was going to ask you about his broadcast.
Still Jamie Moyer.
He's still with the Phillies doing broadcasts. But the former pitcher who, it was funny, I was with Maddox 2 weeks ago out in Tahoe in the Celebrity Golf Tournament, and this is the week before he was going to Cooperstown. And I said, do you remember back in the mid-'80s when it was the M&M twins, Moyer and Maddox? I think you went to Atlanta and won the World Series, and Moyer with the Phillies and won a World Series. Can you both come back? Can you get us a World Series in Chicago? But I love what the Cubs are doing. I like the younger movement. We go back. Remember a couple of years ago or 3-4 years ago when the Marlins had a bunch of no-name guys and get to the World Series? You know what that's about. Speaking of no-name catchers.
Yeah.
Right? And it works. And I think that's what the Cubs are going to do is just go with the young guys. Let's see what we can do. Get our pitchers going. But the key is, as you know and I know, scoring runs. That's got to become the MO as we get frustrated with this game.
So would you recruit this guy is the question.
Yeah, that's me a few years back.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you make the shot? Did you miss it?
No. I was in the post. I'm with you.
Did you play high school basketball?
I did.
Did you play in college?
I did not.
Why? Because you went to baseball.
I was a baseball guy. You know, my skill set was pretty limited.
Well, there was one baseball guy that played for Toronto, and he was a shortstop, but he also played at BYU named Danny Ainge. And beat us on a layup in the Sweet 16 up the middle.
So Zobrist on yet again.
I played high school ball with Timmy Welsh.
Did you really?
Timmy? Sure.
Yeah, I know
Timmy.
Timmy
Timmy was here behind me
in
school. And Rick
that.
Carlisle was in our league.
Carlisle. Yeah.
Rick Carlisle played at a little high school where the foul line going this way was the timeline, and the out of bounds and the wall were one and the same.
Some of these
the small little gym in northern New York.
Absolutely. I mean, that's going way back to when all of a sudden, can we go 94 feet by 50?
Yeah.
But as you know and I know, the game back then, more fundamentals in the game, more dribble drive penetration, more baseline jump shots, 12-foot jump shots, fast breaks for the old 3-on-2 and forget the threes because it wasn't a part of the game.
2 outs. Loney fouls back.
If you can make one change, I'm asking each of you, in baseball, what would yours be?
Well, that's
one change.
It's a pretty open-ended question. I mean, I think that we've had pace issues, especially with replay now, but I would more enforce the batter stay in the box, the pitcher with nobody on base, make a pitch within 15 seconds or so. We had a thing yesterday, Digger. Chris Archer, I guess, takes on average 25 seconds between pitches. That's too long.
Yeah.
It gets past Brusson, but Castro will step on the bag. Ready to sing? Here we go.
Ready to sing, baby. All right. Bring it on.
Time for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Budweiser.
Taking out to the ball game, former Notre Dame basketball coach Digger Phelps.
Let's go on your feet. We got to get this thing done. Are you ready to get us some runs? Are you really ready? Let's let them know in that dugout. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back for it. Root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. Let me hear you. It's 1, 2, 3 strikes. You're out at the old ball game. Let's get some runs. Go, Cubbies, go!
Cubs will bat here in the bottom of the 7th, and the visitors will go into their bullpen. Here's right-hander Kirby Yates.
Well, Kirby Yates has pitched 19 times, and he's got a 2.53 ERA. Good strikeout to walk ratio, better than 4-1. 21 in the 3rd innings, 20 hits, 2 home runs.
So Odorizzi, 6 shutout innings, no walks. He struck out 9, which all came in the first 4 innings.
First pitch slider from Yates. Threw a lot of those. Fastball low 90s. Occasional change occurred, but primarily fastball slider. So many guys out of the pen. A funky delivery, huh? Taps his toes and then he goes. We've seen a lot of impressive young pitchers here in the last 10 days or so. The Ross kid from San Diego. Odorizzi here today. Anderson, not so much a young kid, but that was my first look at him. Lefty with the Rockies. Yates certainly earned his promotion. He was lights out at AAA, had no 36 ERA in 25 innings, allowed just 10 hits, struck out 35.
Yates Tommy John surgery while he was in college. Avapai Junior College in Arizona. Shoulder surgery prior to 2011. Swing and a miss, strike 3. The brother of former Major League pitcher Tyler Yates, who became a police officer in Hawaii after he retired. That's where they're from. He'll be signed as an undrafted free agent. 2009. Here's Valbuena. For his last 12 now. He's struck out both times against Odorizzi. Oh, 2. 10 punch outs for Rays pitching today. Slicing drive out of play, down off to the left. Great look at the grand old ballpark, celebrating its 100th birthday this year. One and 2. Alex Cobb, right-hander against lefty Travis Wood tomorrow. The Brewers come in Monday night. Rays will travel to Texas. Former Ray James Shields pitching tonight for the Royals. They're hosting the San Francisco Giants. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Kansas City holding the second spot in the American League wild card race going into play today.
I got a feeling the Cubs are going to lead the league in swings and misses today. A lot of red K's going on the scorecard. It's a hat trick for Luis Valbuena. $36,739 in the friendly confines. Aside from a Javi Baez double and some pretty weather, they haven't had a lot to get excited about. Cubs still with 7 outs to play with. 6.
Zobrist to end the inning. Yates goes 1, 2, 3 to the 8th for zip Tampa Bay.
To the left there, I see some scurrying around.
Doug Stanton's final day with us here at WGN. He just gave me the attendance for the last time. Makes me a little sad. Longoria hits a bouncer to short. Castro will throw him out. Russin in his second inning of work. Oh, they're personal pizzas. I got you. Actually, they just bought that one for Doug. He's expected to share. Next to Giordano's and the Cubs. Here's Logan Forsythe. He's batting for Matt Joyce.
Forsythe started and played second base in the ball game yesterday. The former Padre. Good solid player. He fits the mold of so many of these Ray players. Versatile guy, can move around the field. Line drive hitter. Doesn't hit a lot of home runs.
I suppose if Russ had wanted to, he could tell Tom Hallion, hey, Escobar is a little too close for comfort, but nobody said anything. So, Todd Helton used to get as close as possible.
Yeah, back in the day, that would earn you a little brushback pitch. Isn't that good of a look at a pitcher? I don't know how much value there really is in it.
My biggest worry would be I'm too close to the hitter. If he just gets a piece of a foul ball, it's coming right at me. Another one bounced foul. Orioles 9, Cardinals 3 as they play the bottom of the 8th at Camden Yards. They scored 12 times last night. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Second punch out for the lefty Russin.
Chris last pitched in Colorado in that lopsided affair against the Rockies. Things did not go well for him in that ball game, but good so far here today. Four runs, 3 hits, 3 walks in 2 innings of work 3 days ago in Denver.
Escobar to Castro. He throws to Rizzo. So Russin goes 1, 2, 3 in the top of the 8th, getting late as the Cubs are down 4. Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Ford, manufacturers of America's best-selling brand. Check out our best-selling lineup at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. And by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Zobrist goes from second to left. He probably loves these NL games. And Forsythe stays in and plays second. Ruggiano single, hit by a pitch and caught stealing. Yates still working here in the 8th. Slider fouled back. Hanley Ramirez, an MRI on his rib cage area, not in the lineup against Milwaukee tonight. We noted that when we saw the Dodgers last weekend. And Loney, the former Dodger, makes a catch. Just the idea of dealing with injuries with a veteran team like that one.
Yep, so they got some guys that are banged up a little bit, and then they got some guys that do this, checks the swing and snaps the bat.
I got to believe there was a crack in the bat.
There had to be something going on there, you would think. It's one strong man, though.
Brewers won that game 9-3. Ricky Weeks hit a 3-run homer. Let's see tonight. They've got Mike Fiers filling in for Matt Garza. Zach Greinke against his former club. One to Castillo is a slider strike. Chris Valaika on deck. Lloyd Hamilton checks in from Dublin, Ireland, rooting on the Cubs. Line drive caught by Forsythe. I think he ran a little post pattern there.
A hit on a line, but not hit all that sharply, and Forsythe able to close on it in a hurry. We're out number 2. Slice spin on that one.
Like Jay Cutler to Brandon Marshall, didn't it?
Over the middle?
Yeah.
Secure that ball before you take a big hit. 4 generations of Butcharts here today. Great Grandpa Russ, Grandpa Ron, Dad Josh, great grandson Will, uncles Jason and Joe along for the ride as well. They're hoping for a Cubs W. We need some big things to happen here in fairly short order. Two good innings for Russin today. Allowed 1 hit, no runs, didn't walk anybody, had a strikeout.
Derek Jeter, 3,431 hits, sole possession of 6th on the all-time hit list. You pass Honus Wagner on any offensive list.
They've been around a while.
Pretty jaw-dropping. Called strike 3 to get the pinch hitter Valaika. Yates faced 6, got all of them. 4-0 as we go to the 9th.
Back, and this one is going to be past the Red Hawks bullpen for a 5th home run with Iowa, and Iowa regains the lead at 4-2 in the top of the 3rd inning.
The first place Iowa Cubs, Jorge Soler with his 5th homer in his last 13 games, hitting .313 with Iowa.
After hitting a .415 in 22 ball games at AA Tennessee.
Yuji Fujikawa with his 2nd appearance since coming back from Tommy John surgery.
He worked in that same game Russin did, the blowout game against the Rockies. Had a clean inning. 12 appearances with the Cubs last year before being shut down. Worked his way through the minor leagues this year, rehabbing, and get a chance here in the final couple of months, I guess, to show what he could do. This is year 2 of a 2-year deal for Fujikawa.
Held out a play by Molina. Mike Holt hitting .328 back at Iowa. Chris Bryant has scored a run and has a hit in 11 in a row. Billy McKinney acquired in the deal with the A's, hitting .340. He's down at High 8 Daytona.
The Rays played the Cardinals earlier this year in interleague play, and Molina's brother Yadier had Jose Oquendo drop a package of peanut butter crackers or some kind of crackers at home plate on his way to coach third base, so they'd be waiting for Jose when he came out and took the field. Tucked him into his back pocket.
He pops it up. Rizzo races over toward the barrier, and it's behind the dugout. It's always a fun note. 2001 with the Angels, Jose and Benji became the second tandem of siblings to appear at catcher on the same team in the same season. Amos and Lave Cross did it for the Louisville Colonels back in 1887 in the American Association.
Yeah, those guys were good. Lave could really throw. Amos more of a offensive catcher.
Well, you would know.
Keep your chin up, son.
Knocked down by Valbuena. He still has time, and he'll get him. Nicely done by Valbuena.
Sharply hit, and yeah, no need to panic. Plenty of time with Molina going down the line.
Ow. Imagine those knees bark a fair amount now at age 39. When the Molinas get together for dinner, do they even have to find chairs?
Well, they just squat around.
Figueroa pinch hitting. I saw this note on in Sports Illustrated earlier this season. The McKenney family, M small c capital K E N N E Y. They're huge Tampa Bay Rays fans. They have a signed baseball by every player, coach, manager to ever wear a Rays uniform. 415 and counting at the time of this article. How about that?
Wow.
Even Harvey Dorfman, the mental skills coach, signed one for them.
What do they do with them all?
They're season ticket holders. I think they just collect them.
Big display case.
Yeah, they're above the Rays bullpen. That first season, they became friends with a lot of the Rays relief pitchers. At one point, one in the family drove 14 hours to Durham, North Carolina to get an autograph from Jay Bente, who was pitching in the minor leagues. He had spent one day with the Rays. Pretty committed group, huh?
Well, if you don't get them all, your collection's not complete. You got to be all in. Likes to split in this situation. Not with the heater.
Rizzo will take it. 2 ground outs, and now Kiermaier. Great shots from the blimp today.
Pretty good looking pitch. Let's check our pitch tracks. Good enough. Could have been for sure. Right on the plate. Appeared to be high enough.
Shallow center. Castro's got a beat on it. Now on the back pedal, he makes the catch. I think we should party like Javier Baez was 7 years old. Great work by our entire crew. Our producer Mark Brady, our associate producer Doug Stanton. Final day for Doug. Fillmore Ellison is our director. Executive producer Bob Vorwald. Christina Ballas at our WGN studios, our coordinator. Excellent work by our entire crew. Jake McGee in a non-save spot. We saw him in the 8th inning yesterday.
Yeah, big left-hander who, boy, he really delivers the mail. Rushes it up there. One heater after another yesterday. Mid to upper 90s. Not trying to trick anybody. He's playing that power game, and he's played it really well this year, hasn't he? 1.41 ERA.
Coghlan singled off him to lead off the 8th yesterday. But 2 strikeouts and an infield pop got McGee out of the inning.
That was nasty. A little bit of a crossfire and a 96-mile-an-hour dart to the outside corner at the knees.
He is from Reno, Nevada. Cubs are trying to avoid being shut out for the 13th time this year. They don't get any or one here. The ball floated foul to right. It would be the 22nd time they would have scored 0 or 1 in a ball game.
Can't really bemoan missed opportunities today. Just
nope.
Lack of opportunities. Didn't get anything done against Odorizzi. He gave up 3 hits, didn't walk anybody. Punched out 9.
Baez on deck. 1 for 3 with a double.
3 hits. Ruggiano was hit by a pitch in the 5th. So 4 base runners for the Cubs today. They never had more than 1 in an inning.
Yeah, kept score for a couple of hours. Good to go now. Molina could not hang on to it. Still 2-2.
Baltimore pouring it on against St. Louis today. Welcome back, Brad Penny. He's going to make a start for the Marlins tonight.
It's Alfredo Simon. Game will get underway here in about 5 minutes. 98, but it missed. 3-2.
Penny returning to the Marlins 10 years after he pitched there with Mike Redmond. Now the manager was his catcher.
So Penny's back, and Josh Beckett, we don't know when or if he'll make his next start. Just went to the DL with the hip problem.
Penny hasn't been in the big league since 2012. He worked 22 times that year out of the Giant bullpen.
Called strike 3. Coghlan.
A lengthy at bat, and McGee ultimately wins the battle. Borderline pitch, but according to our pitch tracks, really justifiable for Tom Halling to ring him up there. It's a tough AB for Coghlan, though. You battle a hard throwing lefty like that, pitch after pitch after pitch. I understand his frustration. It was proven to be a very frustrating day for just about everybody in this Cubs lineup. Haven't been too many offers for Coghlan here of late.
One and one on Baez. The final now in Baltimore, 10-3, the Orioles smoke the Cardinals. Cardinals have run into a buzzsaw there, so they have been outscored 22-5 in the first 2 games of that series. Foul tip, strike 3. Strikeouts on the day for the Cubs batters.
And the real impressive thing about the Rays pitching here today, 14 strikeouts and no walks. Figure you're striking a lot of people out. You're probably running deep counts. You might end up walking a hitter or two.
Yep. 1-0 on Rizzo. Back at 1-1. Average now under 280. Nothing Rays in the ninth. Trying to win back-to-back games to start the weekend, an inch closer to the 500 mark. Rays at 56 and 59. There it is. That deflects off McGee's leg, and Rizzo will have an infield hit. Looks like McGee's all right.
Well, it's been a tough go for Anthony of late. Maybe something to build off here. 2-out knock in the bottom of the ninth. Good swing of the bat, sharply hit. Off a tough lefty.
I want to thank Dave Hudson running the camera up in the blimp. Castro sends one out into left center, so the Cubs with back-to-back 2-out hits. Jeff Kapik, the pilot, giving us these wonderful beauty shots of the ballpark and the city. Well, one more guy gets on, and all of a sudden, Alcantara is the tying run. But that means Valbuena's got to reach. And this is a tough at bat against a lefty who can hit 98.
Yeah, place that fastball down in the way he did against Coghlan. He works with the third base side of the rubber, kind of works across his body a little bit. Valbuena has struck out 3 times, all swinging so far this afternoon. Not the kind of guy you want to face. You're already sitting on a hat trick. Want to keep the line moving. Have a good at bat. Poke a single somewhere. Take a walk. Whatever it takes. So for the first time today, the Cubs with 2 men on base in the same inning. It comes with 2 outs in the ninth. Back-to-back singles. Rizzo, Castro. Down to their last strike here with Valbuena.
And Valbuena strikes out, and that'll end it. So the Rays will go for the sweep tomorrow. Boy, a strikeout fest today, starting with Odorizzi, who punched out 9. Yates and McGee each with 3. The final score, Tampa Bay 4, the Cubs nothing.